All right, I am so excited about today's video. Now, not only am I here to show you how to make a delicious coconut cream pie for two, but I have a very exciting announcement. Now, the number one question I get asked here on YouTube is, how do I print your recipes? Now, you probably know that YouTube doesn't have a print recipe feature, but I've come up with a solution and I think you're gonna love it. I'm excited to announce that I have partnered with a company called Preheat who makes beautiful printed copies of my recipes, just like this. Look at that. There's our coconut cream pie we're making today. They come on a sheet with a full picture on the front, the recipe on the back. It is a special coated paper that they developed that is so cool because I don't know about you, but I'm a super messy cook and I spill over my recipe books, cookbooks all the time. Well, guess what? You can wipe this off with a damp cloth. You can run it under water. Look at this. Yeah, just like that. Doesn't hurt it. You just wipe it off, dry it, and it's nice and clean. Now, in addition to the recipe sheets, they have these, because you need somewhere to put the sheets, right? We've got 3 different beautiful binders. Look at that one. That's my small batch focaccia bread. It's got the strawberry cream pie on it. And this one, yeah, it's got my face on it. And these can sit on your kitchen. It looks like a beautiful book. You can put all of your recipe sheets in it. We currently have 56 of my recipes in sheets with lots more to come. So if there's one that I don't have yet, let me know, leave a comment. But all of these can be purchased individually. You can choose your binder. So fun. So today's recipe for coconut cream pie is available. I'm going to put a link down below so you can find out how to purchase them. And I hope you love them as much as I do. All right, so let's make pie. Now, if you loved my coconut cake for two that I shared right up there, you are gonna love this coconut cream pie for two. We're gonna use a graham cracker crust, fill it with a coconut pudding-like filling, top it with some sweetened whipped cream, some toasted coconut, yeah, yum. We're gonna make the graham cracker crust first. And in here I have 2/3 of a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Now, I just took 4 sheets or 8 squares of graham crackers. I blended them up in my little food processor, and I've got 2/3 of a cup of crumbs. Into that, we're gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 2.5 tablespoons of melted butter. Then we just wanna stir that together till it resembles kind of the consistency of wet sand. We're just gonna take this mixture and we're gonna divide it as evenly as possible between our 2 pie tins. And then you just want to push it onto the bottom and up the sides. Just make sure that there aren't any holes or cracks in the bottom. Probably not going to come all the way up to the top of the pie tin, but that's okay. All right, after we have that all done, we're going to take what I just like to, with these small batch recipes, it's much easier to get these little pie tins in and out of the oven if you go ahead and just put them on a baking sheet. And then you just got one thing to pull out. We're gonna put them in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 5-6 minutes, just until you can start to smell that yummy toasted graham cracker and it turns lightly golden brown around the edges. For the filling of our coconut cream pie, we're gonna use my vanilla pudding for two recipe. You can find it up here. It's so good. I love the warm vanilla pudding. But we're gonna add some coconut extract, some flaky coconut, and turn it into a coconut filling. So we're gonna start with 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And then we want 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and then we're just going to take that, whisk that together there a little bit, and then we're going to add in 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, and just pour that in and stir it until it's nice and dissolved and all that sugar is dissolved. You don't want any lumps in there. All right, once we've got that nice and smooth, we're going to go ahead and add in wrong one. Another 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream and a cup of whole milk. Now, of course, you can use other milk, but I find you get the richest, yummiest pudding when you use whole milk. All right, and just stir that up until it's all incorporated. All right, now I gotta check my trusty recipe card. We are gonna take this over to the stove, and we are gonna bring it over just a medium-low heat, just bring it up until bubbles start to form around the edge. We don't want to bring this to a complete boil. Now, when the bubbles form around the edge, turn the heat down to low and let it cook for about a couple more minutes or until it starts to thicken up. Again, don't let it come to a rolling boil. We're going to turn off the heat and add in 1 tablespoon of butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract. All right, we've got everything else in there, and now we just have to add in our coconut, 1/4 cup of sweetened flaky coconut. And then we're going to let this cool down a little before we pour it into our pie tin. It doesn't have to be chilled, but just so it's not so hot, even down to room temperature. You can pop it in the refrigerator for a few minutes too if you want to make it cool a little quicker. While that pie filling is cooling, we're going to whip up some whipping cream. So I'm going to take some more of that heavy whipping cream. I'm going to put in 1/3 cup. There we go. And I like to sweeten it just a bit. This pie is a very sweet pie, so you could not add any sugar into the whipped cream. I'm just adding like a 1/2 teaspoon just to give it a hint of sweetness. And then we're just going to whip this up until we have soft peaks. All right, I've cooled our pie filling down a bit. It's still warm. You just don't want it like hot, hot. So we're going to take it and eyeball it and to put 1/2 of it in each tin. It should fill it right up to the top of that graham cracker crust. All right, and then we're going to take 1/2 of our whipped cream. This is one of the reasons why you don't want it too hot, because you don't want it to melt that whipped cream when you put it on top. All right, get all of that out of there. And I'm just going to take my little offset spatula, and I just spread it. It doesn't totally cover the top. Now, if you want more whipped cream, go ahead and whip up a 1/2 cup instead of a 1/3 cup. But I just like just a little bit on there. And then we're going to we're going to toast some coconut. And let me show you right now how to toast the coconut. To toast your coconut, place it on a baking sheet in a single layer. Then put it in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 4 to 5 minutes or until it turns golden brown. Be sure to watch it close. And just know, too, that if your pie filling is cooler, it's going to be a little bit easier to spread that whipped cream on top rather than on a warm filling. So I'm going to take some of that coconut that we toasted and just sprinkle on top. In your pie, then it needs to go into the refrigerator for a couple of hours just to let it chill and let that pudding filling thicken up. Our coconut cream pie has cooled and it is chilled and it is delicious. So good. Coconut lover's dream, that yummy, creamy coconut filling. Now, don't forget, click down below for your printed recipe card and let me know which binder you choose. And I'll see you in the next video.